Shalom, Kohalo, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bahashim Kodash, double honors to the older apostles and other bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. And Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the World War III daily update. Shalom and salutations to you as well. We're going to start out right here in Joel 3 and get to the part about the weapons. All right. Joel 3 and 8, Salakia 3 and 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Okay? So a plowshare is a gardening tool. Pruning hook is a gardening tool. It says, melt down your gardening tools and make them into what? Weapons. Into swords, into spears. All right? So that you can fight against the strong. Who is strong? Babylon the Great. Great America is the strong. Supposedly. Who's the weak? Iran. Iran doesn't have a nuke. Huh. Believe that if you want to. Iran has allies. Okay? Anyway, with that, we're going to let this guy, the Canadian prepper, all right, remember he's a prepper, so he's speaking from the mindset of a prepper, but he does come forth with a lot of good information, especially what's going on as far as World War is concerned, specifically in Eastern Europe. All right, so this is 17 hours ago. Canadian prepper alert, east coast of USA, Russian nuclear warship. All right, so good information in this. We probably won't watch the whole thing. It's pretty lengthy, but we'll watch a good portion. You can go back and watch the rest later. Take it away, Nate.
All right, folks, Canadian Prepper here. Your time is precious, so I'm not going to waste it. The thing I despise the most is when YouTubers ramble on for the first 10 minutes and they don't just get to the point. So that's exactly what I'm going to do for you today. All I'm going to say is make sure you have your bug-out bags ready to go and your bunkers, if you're privy enough to have one, locked and loaded, because we have some big news to break today, and I can't cram it all into the first minute, so you're going to have to stick with me till the end, all right? Now, we have Russian warships armed with hypersonic nuclear missiles parked just off the east coast of the United States. I repeat, Russian warship armed with hypersonic nuclear missiles, just like Medvedev threatened 2 weeks ago, apparently now is a reality.
Let the weak say I'm strong. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Those spears are those nuclear missiles.
According to my sources, which I will disavow towards the end of the video, I give full credit where credit is due. And there's a YouTube channel who disseminated this information first, and I plan on giving them full credit for doing so in just a minute. They also talk about how there was a Russian warship that's been just off the Hawaiian coast, 24 miles, in fact, in accordance with international law. You have to be 22 miles away from any nation's coastline if you're a military ship, and that is, in fact, mainstream news. So Russian intelligence is collecting some sort of information or doing some sort of recon mission out there. We also have this data point. Russia is now engaged in a real war with the West, according to the foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov. Up until this point, it's been considered a hybrid war. A hybrid war is called fifth generation warfare. In fifth generation warfare, this is a way for nuclear powers to fight with one another without it going to the strategic level. Because once two nuclear powers engage in a conventional war, a direct war that's not a proxy war with one another, the risk of it escalating to the nuclear level is high. That's when we're talking DEFCON 2, DEFCON 1 stuff. Up until this point, it's been cyber attacks, it's been a culture war, it's been a media war, it's been maybe some attacks on the grid and critical infrastructure, but it's about to get hot. The Russians are now saying, their foreign minister, one of the highest people in their government and the second in command, Dmitry Medvedev, or the second arguably of influence in the country. Medvedev is saying that this is now a real war with the Russians. And War News 24/7, who are very accurate in their predictions, has come out and said that intensive war preparations are taking place in the capital of Russia, as we've talked about for the last few days, setting up all the anti-aircraft batteries on top of Moscow. People have no idea how big this is, and I don't blame you, because if you go outside right now, if you turn on the TV, you are not going to hear about any of this, and that's the scary part, is that a lot of people are going to be late to the party for this one. So if this is a big game of musical chairs, consider this your inside tip, and you're going to hear it long before the music stops, okay? So they're saying that Putin is going to make an extremely important announcement in the next few days. Moscow is expected to officially declare the start of a new patriotic war. Why would any of this be happening, you ask? Well, guess what? The weapons are flowing into Ukraine like crazy right now from all NATO countries. And this is getting to the point where Russia is getting ready to make an ultimatum. Guys, this is big. People think, oh, it's just a few Bradleys, it's just some howitzers, it's just some whatever else they're sending to the front lines, but now they're sending F-16s, they're going to send the Leopard tanks. One congressman joked about sending one Abrams, so that pushes Germany over the edge to allow all of their Leopard tanks to flow to Ukraine, but make no mistake, the Leopard tanks are going to be fighting in Ukraine, whether Germany agrees to it or not, which unofficially, the word is they are going to agree to it, because as I reported yesterday, they are already continuing to train Ukrainians on how to use these tanks, and they're already doing an inventory and inspections of their tanks so that they are ready to go when needed. That is from the commander, Boris Pistorius, of the German military. Okay? Now, what else do we have here? I want to play you this. This is, I'm going to have to refresh the page here, okay? So this is from Newsweek. This is Newsweek reporting Russian state-sponsored media. Now, this lady right here, many of you are probably familiar with her if you watch this channel. I believe she is the CEO or director of Russia Today. Okay, probably one of the most prominent and internationally known media agencies coming out of Russia. Definitely not the most prestigious, but one of the most widely known. And this is what she has to say. And I'm going to narrate it because she's speaking in Russian, and for some reason, I cannot remove this line from the subtitle screen. Usually when you hover the cursor away, it goes away, but not on Newsweek. And again, YouTube, this is from Newsweek, so don't shoot the messenger, okay? She says, I kept saying, guys, there will be a big war, for sure. By the end of winter, something very big will happen. Otherwise, those points would not have been voiced in the form of resembling an ultimatum. At some point in the form of an ultimatum, we'll have to announce that the silos are open, nuclear silos, or whichever way it's done. I'm not a specialist. And they aren't pointed at Kiev. Naturally, this is not about Kiev. For them, Kiev is unquestionably just a bargaining chip. So indeed, this is not about Kiev, okay? This is about Washington and sending a message to NATO. Now, Washington is saying the reason why we're reluctant, I'll give you something to watch here because I know everybody's got TikTok brain. The reason Washington is reluctant to send, these are Bradley vehicles heading to Ukraine, by the way. The reason why they're reluctant to send the Abrams tanks is because they're too high maintenance. They require a special type of fuel, jet fuel, to be most efficient. I believe they can run on diesel. They are multi-fuel, but they get terrible, terrible gas mileage. And they're so heavy that they're probably not going to work well on the Ukrainian terrain. This is the excuse we're being told. Whereas the Russian tanks are built to be lightweight, they're built to be low maintenance, and require less fuel. Once again, the Russians have proven that their militaries are tailored towards a protracted, high-intensity conflict. Just like the AK-47 and the Kalashnikov, these weapon systems are designed to be somewhat primitive in their capabilities, if you could even say that. I mean, they are modern pieces of equipment, but they're simple in their design because high intensity conflict, where you have to use something over and over again, in a war where it takes hundreds of thousands of rounds just to kill one guy. I think in Afghanistan, it was 300,000 rounds just to kill one insurgent. I'm not sure what it is in this conflict, but I know it's very, very high. Compare that to back in the Civil War when it was like 100 rounds to take out one guy. Modern warfare, most of it is waged as remotely as possibly can be, requires a lot of ammunition. And that is exactly what is flowing in. And right now, Russia knew that at some point it was going to be faced with this ultimatum, according to the state sponsored media at Russia Today.
So do you see what's going on? All of these munitions, tanks, right? They're bringing in the F-16s, all of this ammo. That beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. Ukraine, supposedly Ukraine, is weak. They're getting all of this supplemental war supply. Now they're saying, let's do this. Right? Basically, what we were watching is if Russian nuclear warship is sitting off the coast of the USA, right? That's basic. And they, oh, well, they do this all the time. They do this all the time, right? Well, not when the debt clock, if you will, is just went down 10 seconds from 100 seconds to 90, right? When's the last time that happened? Has the debt clock ever been so low?
Here's the deal with SEO on
Slovakia. See what Dabu has to say about that. Dabu!
This is Dabu7. We now have the members of this Science and Security Board removing the veil here that covers the doomsday clock, and they are revealing it has now been set to 90 seconds to midnight. This is the closest that it has ever been to what they want to call annihilation. Now, there seems to always be several factors that tie into this. And many of the last times that they've made these adjustments, they have been citing world events like all the lockdowns and stuff that we went through. And now, above all the other war fronts, they're citing the Ukraine.
World events, as in World what? War III.
This comes at the end of a week after we've heard calls out of Russia for either peace talks or there's going to be nuclear war. We've even had the patriarch of their main church out of Russia come out and say that the end of the world is right around the corner, especially if they keep pressing us on this Ukraine thing. Now, the world is a stage, and all these theaters are exactly that, theaters of war. One thing's for sure, innocent people get caught up in the crossfire and are in turn made cannon fodder in these events. We've seen it left and right. Remember, they have a goal of reducing the population by billions. So there's going to have to be some big time events coming. Also remember, this is the year of the polycrisis. As the World Economic Forum puts it, that means there's going to be multiple crises unraveling this year. What do we have coming right around the corner? Brought to you by all these minions. Join me on the line.
All right, this is Dabu77. 1 hour ago, doomsday clock now set to 90 seconds to midnight. The closest it has ever been to nuclear annihilation. All right, so let's quickly get Zechariah. It's 14 and 12. We'll look at the nukes coming. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. That is a nuclear weapon. the effects of it. Rolled together as a scroll, right? Isaiah 34:4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. Dissolved how? Nuclear fission. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's a mushroom cloud. And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off the vine, as the leaf falleth from Salakia. I'm going to start again. Isaiah 34:4. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. All right, wafting, if you will. All right, that's that. Right, heavens being dissolved. That's the same as that nuclear missile. This is nuclear annihilation in the Bible, if you will. Okay, we're going to end it right here. What does this spell? What are we looking at? What's the name of this series, as the Elder Apostle calls it? Come on. Come on. Oh, look at this. This is crazy. It's fighting me, so I have to go around it. This is Revelation 11:14. The second woe is past, World War II. And behold, the third woe comes quickly, World War III. What comes quickly? All right, so with that, we're going to end it. We hope that you hopeful elect or edify you brothers and sisters with that shalom.